1910, the District of Columbia became the first jurisdiction below the Mason-Dixon line to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples. David and Craig also want to celebrate the expansion of rights this moment represents. Also to celebrate our nation's founders, and yes, they wish to include Abigail Adams, who inspired her husband John, and whose words you will hear shortly. The Constitution has personal meaning for David and Craig. They first met more than 25 years ago in Philadelphia during the week of its 200th anniversary. While the authors and supporters of the Constitution might not have had gay marriage on their minds, they meant to create a flexible system of government that allows future rights they never imagined. They specifically said so in the Ninth Amendment, which Craig and David have asked me to read to begin the ceremony. Quote, "The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people." And now a few readings from the letters of Abigail and John Adams.
Regard the honor and moral character of a man more than all other circumstances. Think of no other greatness but that of the soul, no other riches but those of the heart. John Adams.
I have sometimes been ready to think that the passion for liberty cannot be strong in those who have been accustomed to deprive their fellow creatures of theirs. Abigail Adams.
An honest, sensible, humane man, above all the littleness of vanity and extravagances of imagination, laboring to do good rather than be rich, to be useful rather than make a show, living in modest simplicity, clearly within his means and free from debts and obligations, is really the most respectable man in society, makes himself and all about him most happy. John Adams.
I look back to the early days of our acquaintance and friendship as to the days of love and innocence, and with an indescribable pleasure, I have seen scores of years roll over our heads with an affection heightened and improved by time. Abigail Adams.
From her own smartphone.
Gentlemen, you finally ready?
You wait, finally. 25 more.
All right. We are gathered here today in the face of this company to join together this couple in the legal and honorable state of matrimony, which estate is not to be entered into unadvisedly or lightly, but soberly, freely, and reverently. This is a civil marriage as distinguished from a religious one. It is a contract recognized by law and complete in itself. The parties to it must realize that it is a solemn compact entered into freely by both parties without mental reservations and with full realization of the seriousness of the obligations mutually undertaken. I require and charge you both that either of you don't have any impediment why you should not be lawfully joined together in matrimony. You should speak it now. Will thou, James Craig Crawford, have this person to be thy wedded spouse, to live together in the legal state of matrimony? Wilt thou love, comfort, honor, and keep your spouse in sickness and in health, forsaking all others, as long as you both shall live?
I will.
And will thou, David Matthew Blank, have this person to be thy wedded spouse, to live together in the legal estate of matrimony? Wilt thou love, comfort, honor, and keep your spouse in sickness and in health, forsaking all others, so long as you both shall live?
I will.
Please join your hands and Craig repeat after me. I, James Craig Crawford.
I, James Craig Crawford.
Take thee, David Matthew Blank.
Take thee, David Matthew Blank.
To be my wedded spouse.
To be my wedded spouse.
To have and to hold from this day forward.
To have and to hold from this day forward.
For better, for worse.
For better or worse.
For richer, for poorer.
For richer or poorer.
In sickness and in health.
In sickness and in health.
To love and to cherish.
To love and to cherish.
Till death do us part.
Till death do us part.
And thereto I give thee my solemn promise.
And thereto I give thee my solemn promise.
David, please repeat after me. I, David Matthew Blank,
I, David Matthew Blank,
take thee, James Craig Crawford,
take thee, James Craig
to
Crawford,
be my wedded spouse,
to be my wedded spouse,
to have and to hold,
to have and to hold,
from this day forward,
from this day forward,
for better, for worse,
for better, for worse,
for richer, for poorer,
for richer, for poorer,
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
in love, to cherish,
till
death do us part,
till death do us part.
and thereto I give you my solemn promise.
And thereto I give thee my solemn promise.
The wedding ring is the outward and visible sign of an inward and spiritual bond which unites you. Do you have a ring?
With Luke. Oh.
All right, James, if you take the ring and put it on the third finger of your spouse's left hand and repeat after me. In token and pledge of our constant faith.
In token and pledge of our constant faith.
And abiding love.
And abiding love.
With this ring I thee wed.
With this ring I thee wed.
Matthew?
Something a little extra.
David?
We'll do his
Yes.
I want to talk. You're a great man, David. Not in the way the whole big wide world needs. Just you. Your kindness, gentleness, your thoughtfulness. I love you, David. I never imagined I could be so thankful.
All right, David, take the ring and put it on the third finger of your spouse's left hand and repeat after me. In token and pledge of our constant faith.
In token and pledge of our constant faith.
And abiding love.
And abiding love.
With this ring I thee wed.
With this ring I thee wed. I'd like to add something. Craig, I knew there was a special spark between us since our initial conversation about Robert Bork and all my children at that bar in Philadelphia. That spark continued as I studied under your tutelage in my 20s. The light continues to shine today and into the future. I love you and I'm so happy you will be my spouse.
With Buses, Craig and David have consented to live together in lawful wedlock and have witnessed the same before me, and thereto have given their solemn promises each to the other, and have declared the same by giving and receiving the ring and by joining hands, under and by virtue of the authority conferred upon me as Associate Judge of the Superior Court of the District of Columbia by the Congress of the United States, I now pronounce you legally married.
Craig in our childhood. One of the most vivid memories I have is of Craig and his mother being in the back seat and we were going somewhere and Craig was getting spankings. I think you can all imagine that most of the spankings were because of Craig's sassing.
Let's do it.
Craig's parents, Toby and Bill, were not able to travel from Florida to D.C. for this event, but they did want to send their blessings to David and Craig in a letter. We are so sorry we cannot be with you for this wonderful event. Please know that our loving thoughts are with you. Craig, from the time you were a baby, then a toddler, a teenager, a young man, and now, our wish has been that you be happy, personable, well-rounded, considerate of others, in control of your own destiny, and that you enjoy your life. You have so fulfilled our hopes and dreams. You have always been such a joy to parent. We love you with all our hearts. David, we could not have hoped or asked for a better mate for Craig than you. We see in you the same wonderful qualities we wanted for Craig. We know how happy Craig is with you, and we are so happy to have you in our lives and our family. We love you both very much, Mom and Dad. For those of you who did not know Craig when he was a youngster, I do have just a few tidbits that I wanted to share with you. His interest in government law and politics started early on. When he was just in grammar school, he wrote a letter to the mayor of Orlando and requested an appointment. His mother had to drive him to the appointment, but she did. She was a dutiful mother. And in the meeting, Craig told the mayor that he was concerned because Orlando did not have a sign welcoming visitors. When he was 6 years old, his parents took him to the Orlando airport when President Johnson was going to be there for a visit. Craig was able to shake hands with President Johnson, and then he went home, took a piece of paper, and outlined his own hand and wrote, "This hand shook the president's hand." And that handprint still hangs on the wall in Florida. During junior high, Craig was a page in the U.S. Senate, and he was the president of his class from the 7th grade through the 12th grade. In the early 80s, he ran for a position in the Florida legislature. He didn't get that one. He lost that one. Craig also developed a sense of humor early on. He got that from both his parents. Bill has one of the driest, sharpest wits you'll ever meet. And Toby always made everything fun. One of the things that she always did was she always tried to pull a joke on Craig on April Fool's Day. And I think that two of the funniest are the time that she woke him up an hour early to school and let him go stand outside and wait on the bus. And the other one is the time she sent him to school with an empty lunchbox.
That's me.
In 2003, the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court held that same-sex couples had the right to marry in Massachusetts. It was the first high court to do so. Chief Justice Margaret Marshall had some particularly beautiful words about marriage. Marriage is a vital social institution. The exclusive commitment of two individuals to each other nurtures love and mutual support. It brings stability to our society. Civil marriage is at once a deeply personal commitment to another human being and a highly public celebration. It is an esteemed institution, and the decision whether and whom to marry is among life's momentous acts of self-definition. Craig and David, I am so happy that you are able to proclaim your commitment to each other in this marriage and in this public celebration. On behalf of Craig's parents, Toby, with her Baileys, and Bill with his wild turkey, which he would always hasten to add, must be Wild Turkey 101.
Tall glass.
Yes. I ask that you join us in wishing Craig and David a long and happy marriage. May for better or worse be far better than worse.
Yes. Offering mazel tov and best wishes and everything good, and welcoming you, Craig, to the family, although it feels that you've been apart for so long. It's a little redundant, but so happy to be here today. And David, I remember in 1987 when you called and you told me a nice fall day you had a friend who was visiting in Cambridge on business and you'd like for me to meet him. And I said, oh sure, sounds good, I'll meet you in Harvard Square. And I thought, you know, whatever would I have to talk to this person about, and what is that going to be like? And well, Craig had me at hello. And we were off and chatting, and the time just flew by, and I think by the time I reported back to David, I would have great guy and great time. I think he was worried what I might have told you about him. So we were in cahoots from then on. And David, you've just, yes, the younger brother, the baby of the family, but so much more than that. I think, we've had so many shared interests over the years. The baseball, the literature, movies, history, and I know I'm forgetting a lot of things in there, but you've really grown in. You're not the baby. You're a peer, a respected peer, a good friend, and a valued opinion on all sorts of things, and that I appreciate. And I've certainly appreciated the time that I've been able to spend with both of you over the years in your home and in mine, and cooking together, seeing the sights. I am glad to see there's no burgoo on the menu.
There's some in the freezer.
If you want to know about the burgoo, you can ask Craig. But it really, David, we've been to 3 inaugurations. They were cold, colder, and coldest. But, I think being on the Capitol lawn with you this winter, when President came forth with the statement that all of our now I've forgotten
all of our gay brothers and sisters.
There needed to be equality for all of our gay brothers and sisters, and we shared a special glance, and that, it felt really special, and I'm glad to be here with you today. So, my wish for you is, of course, a long and happy life together and everything good. And I don't know, after a score plus a quarter, what more advice and so forth we can offer. But I do think that the adage that, true love is not about gazing at each other, but looking together to the future. And I wish you the best of that, and, a long time into the future together and planning. So I just want to end with a poem that was written by the Rufus Collinson, the poet laureate of Gloucester, Massachusetts, has written, "Still now, these two today celebrate a lifetime of being together. And still now, when Craig is talking about the world and the politics of life, looking tenderly in the direction of David, and David is smiling, a shine like dawn itself, you know that you are in the presence of all goodness, all life, all love. Let us now celebrate this love and the gift of Craig and David in our lives."
That is here. Mine and David's best friend, who we lost. And I'm so thankful that Sean Halton's brother and sister are here today. And I'd love it if you would stand up. Ellen with your partner Stacy, and Brian with your wife, to Sean Halton.
Amen, brother.
Now we can spread out for dinner.
At last, our love has come around. Our lonely days are over.
No.
And now we're gonna eat cake.